Impact. It's never about where, it's always about who makes it happen. Now, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about some of those moments of impact in your life. Some of those impacts have been so surreal, so dreamlike, as you think back to those moments where something has changed. Something becomes different. It was about 5:30 in the morning, and I had a chance to get up early. It was about 5:30, took a walk outside of my hotel, walked down to the beach, and had a chance to see the sunrise. I had just thrown on some clothes, combed back my hair, and I went down there, and I stood there and I just watched the sunrise that morning. It was so peaceful. It was so quiet. It gave me a chance to think. Now, that would be quite contrary to what I was normally accustomed to back at home, whereupon I would get up in the morning, I would hear the morning traffic, I would hear the buses, my morning alarm clock go off, the screeching sounds of the city waking up, and I would be out the door, racing to get to the office, the first one in and the last one to leave. So you understand, back at the beach, having this peaceful moment to myself, sitting there and thinking about this amazing week that I had with a millionaire. I spent an entire week with a millionaire. And he was conducting this workshop, and he said to us the night before, I want you to get up in the morning, and I want you to do something that only the wealthy do. Now, I thought to myself, in my situation, okay, getting up in the morning, A-type personality, running to the office, always being on charge, moving forward, I never had the time just to sit and think. How many of you have had that experience? Where all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're thinking about your life, where you are at that particular moment. And I thought about what he had said. And I realized that it was so infrequent that I had a chance to sit on the beach and just take in the quiet. And I sat there and I thought about the fact that unless I was away on vacation, and David and I happened to be at a beach, I never had that chance, that quiet time. And certainly not in the middle of the week. And I always felt so guilty. So I thought in that moment to myself, what is it that you really deserve in your life? Are you really living your truth? Now, for me, that was pretty gut-wrenching, because I'd always been, thinking about my career, and I was thinking about corporate America, having been someone who was, as I said, very A-type personality, always on the go, always making things happen, never having that quiet time, and here I am for an entire week with a millionaire. And I'm beginning to see things differently in the course of that week. There was a particular day that he said to me, I want you to spend, the entire group of us, spend a day in silence. Now, for those of you that know me, okay, and certainly my husband can attest to the fact that me spending a day in silence, okay, is almost catastrophic for me. And I'm choking the entire day because I'm imagining, I'm just got to think about where I want to be in the next 5 years. I never had that opportunity to do that before until that week, in that particular day, with that multi-millionaire who gave me the chance. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, what I want to do with my life. And I start putting together this plan and I start thinking like an entrepreneur, which I had never done before. You don't think like that when you're an employee. Okay, when somebody else is telling you what you're worth, when somebody else is telling you about their agenda, when somebody else is telling you where you need to be, when you need to be there, when you can go on vacation, and what is your life going to be according to what they want, their agenda. So I start thinking to myself, I can create anything I want. Okay, and over the course of that week and that particular day, I sat down and for the very first time started to think about my own purpose and passion. And I wrote my very first 5-year plan. And it's so ironic because growing up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, as a teacher, any teachers in the audience? Okay, I was a teacher, English, drama, moved into corporate America, and there I am making a 5-year plan. And all of a sudden, because my imagination started to take hold, I'm thinking about a global business. Now, I had never been outside of Pennsylvania until I had a chance to take a course over in England after I graduated from college. So for me, to be thinking about a global business was such a breakthrough. It was a moment of impact, and it came from that moment on the beach. Thinking to myself, what do you decide you deserve? And in that moment, I decided I deserved freedom. Because you see, to me, freedom was what I did on the weekends. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Okay? Yeah, let's clap for those. Because I'm telling you that you would end up spending the whole entire week working. Okay, come to the weekend, Friday night, we'd drive out to New Jersey. We had a couple of horses out there. We would spend the weekend decompressing only to start all over again. 60 to 70, 80-hour work weeks. And here I am making a 5-year plan. And I'm thinking about my future. Boy, that was gut-wrenching. Now, you can imagine the woman that David picked up at the airport at the end of the week. Okay, I left that, and I hadn't had a chance to really talk to him. It was before we had internet. We didn't have Skype. We didn't have text messages. We didn't have Facebook. Imagine life without Facebook. That's prehistoric. Okay, we didn't even have a cell phone at that time. That's how long ago this all took place. So this man thinks I'm going to take a real estate course. That was what the course was about, real estate. Well, as you can tell, it was much, much bigger than that. It was about the real estate of my life. Now, I get into the car, he picks me up, and I am so excited about wanting to tell him I had been introduced in that week by one of the guys that I had spent the week with to network marketing. Can you imagine? I made a 5-year plan, and I'm sitting next to someone, and we get to talking, and he starts to talk about freedom, and he starts to talk about opportunity. And I realized that I can take all the dreams that I've had in my 5-year concentration and thought process and put it into a business and have freedom. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? That you can get out of being a corporate prisoner? So you can imagine the man, I'm driving home with David, and he's looking at me, he knows something's up, because I'm sitting there vibrating in the car. I'm so excited. Okay, and I can't wait to get home, because in my hand, I have a cassette, a VH cassette. How many of you remember VH cassettes? Okay, this is before DVDs. This is prehistoric times. I have this VHS cassette, and I can't wait to get in front of the VCR and pop it in. By the way, that's how David thinks of me. Okay, he looks at me, I mean, this is like, we've been together now 30 years. Okay, I am still his trophy wife. And the fact is, I knew that I had a chance to change not only my life, okay, because I felt so renewed. I felt so invigorated. I felt so empowered. Okay, I wanted to go out there and change the world, impact the world, and make a difference. Because I recognized what was happening for myself and so many other people like us, being trapped in a life of desperation. Now, when you think about that, and you think about opportunity and impact, as we've just talked about this entire weekend, with all the fabulous things that Jeremiah and Jeff and Craig have introduced here, okay? We have to decide how and what we are doing when we leave Salt Lake City. When we leave this environment and we go back to our cities, okay, what kind of impact are we prepared to make? What kind of changes do we want to do together, locking arms? Okay, are you ready to lock arms with us? I've got to tell you that I feel very privileged to not only be working with this incredible team at corporate headquarters and the incredible staff around the world that I've gotten to personally know, but I can tell you that through that, the business of what we are doing in multiple countries, I've gotten to know the diamonds. And every diamond that came up on this stage that you've heard from this weekend, okay, has had impact in their business. Okay, they've made significant impacts in the business, the communities around them. But I gotta tell you guys, every one of them has faced incredible challenges, personal challenges, business challenges, emotional challenges, physical challenges, at times financial challenges. Not one of them that has come up on this stage and has talked to you hasn't faced something in order to be able to have that experience to go out there and to help you. Okay, and for that, I wanted you to all to give them a big round of applause. The courage, the fortitude, the ability to see the vision, to recognize an opportunity that we have here with Agile, to change the lives of people around the world. And when I say around the world, you know, if we start with how things happened here in North America. You know, David and I, together with Randy, together with the Zaleckis, together with, you know, Tim and Julie, Billy Looper. Okay, guys, okay, it was like being with a machete, wasn't it? okay, plowing down trees, giving people an opportunity to see that there was a vision here. Okay, we were the pioneers that went out there. And I remember there were times when we didn't have the tools that you heard about today. We didn't have the incredible systems that are now set up around the world. We had raw enthusiasm. Okay, we had so much excitement about gel suspension, gel matrix technology, about building this business, having the opportunity to open up in so many different markets around the world, locking arms, as I said, okay, with Jeff, with Jeremiah, with Craig. From there, okay, we moved over to Southeast Asia. Okay, amazing things started to happen. Niti, okay, and Mutka, and Raymond Tay, and all of their leaders. Okay, amazing people. Again, fortitude, vision, dynamics that occurred, amazing things. But I gotta tell you, I remember the very first event that I went to when I was invited over to Bangkok several years ago. There was a raw energy in that room, Niti, that was so amazing. And I know there are a lot of Thai leaders and Southeast Asia leaders that are here from the Pacific Rim as well. You gave us so much power and energy with your vision. I remember Niti being hoisted up on a big cart and being brought down that center aisle, and the excitement that came out of that amazing event, okay, that's had a rippling effect throughout all of Southeast Asia and has raised the roof on every single event since. I'm so looking forward to seeing all of you to come to Bangkok in November. It's going to be so much fun. You know, I'm going there because I have fun. I'm not a prisoner anymore. This business is about having fun. Okay, being able to travel, going to so many different locations. You know, then from Southeast Asia, okay, Agile opened a country that is near and dear to my heart, in Israel. And together, David and I, with Kobe and Liel, okay, and Shai and Yafa, okay, and Varda, opened up amazing things throughout all of the Middle East. This business started to expand, to go into so many other countries. Okay, again, pioneers out there with machetes. And then we went into, with this incredible excitement and energy, to Latin America. Is there anybody here from Latin America? Okay, the excitement of working together, Kobe Liel, Shai and Yafa, meeting up with the Zerlingers, okay, and the other Zerlingers, and Jaime, and their whole team of leaders. I mean, was so, again, I've been down there. I've learned how to dance, okay, as a result of spending time with them. I mean, we were dancing, singing, you know, moving hips, arms, legs, okay. Now, you remember, I was sitting in a cubicle, I showed you before, okay, for 60 to 80 hours a week. I'm dancing in Buenos Aires. I mean, how much fun do you think this business can be, and the impact that we can change people's lives? Then we go over to Eastern Europe. Oh, my goodness, did you see Atta up here? Smiling? Do you like Atta smiling? I like Atta smiling. Atta and Vera. Okay, I know there's so many people that have been impacted right here in the audience. Who is from Eastern Europe here? Who is from Russia? Okay, who is from Eastern Europe? Lithuania, Ukraine, Moscow, St. Petersburg. Okay, when I heard the number of people that were flying over here, and I know for a fact, having worked in those countries in the past, what it takes to get a freaking visa to come to this country, right? It's amazing what they make you go through. I'm so honored to have all of you here with us. Okay, and I can tell you, I've seen people, buses and trains going from city to city to go to the office in order to pick up products, only to turn around, get back into a bus, a train, and to go home. Guys, that takes fortitude. That's about leadership. Okay, that's about the kind of training that you're getting in Eastern Europe. Okay, and I want you to say again how much I appreciate and I'm honored to work with you. And I'm coming to Eastern Europe next July, and I can't wait to see all of you there. It's been a while, and I'm looking forward to coming back to Moscow and to seeing my friends. And then, of course, we come to Western Europe. Now, I had such an amazing chance to get to know some of the Diamonds, work together closely with them as we kicked open Western Europe. Okay, we're talking about Nando and Silvana. Guys, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Okay, your professionalism, I heard it from the first day that we spoke on the telephone. Even with language barriers, it didn't matter. Patricia, Alberto, the graciousness of coming to your country is beyond anything, that I've ever experienced. The love that has come from the Italians, the Colatis, the Linares, Dino, Vito. Okay, you guys have made me feel Italian. I like feeling Italian. The events that have gone on over there, the growth of that leadership team, taking it to so many other countries around the world, okay, all throughout Europe, starting with Italy and Switzerland, to go to all those different, you've impacted so many lives. Systems, fortitude, vision. As Silvana said earlier, okay, it's about standing up and dusting yourself off and starting all over again. Boy, have you got unbelievable bulletproof vests. Okay, and I heard, and I want to go to another one of our incredible leaders talking about belief. And doing what's necessary. You got to put on a pair of boots and paint them black, and get on with it. Don't allow anything to be an obstacle. Okay, moving into your lives, keeping your humility, but at the same time, be victorious. Do it with valor. Because you know what? I found out no matter where you think you are, people are watching you. They're looking. The competitors are looking, like what you heard Jeff saying earlier today, what you heard Atta saying. They're watching Agile. Okay, from the outside, from the inside. No matter how you're feeling, like Silvana said earlier today, okay, you're not feeling your best, you fell in the mud, you've got stuff all over your dress, you have old boots on, okay, it doesn't matter, does it? You pick yourself up, you go out there. You put a smile on your face. My mother always said, never leave the house without a smile. Put your life together in the best way and go forward. People are watching. And you know how I know that? Because I've had so many of you come up to me. And if you think inspiration goes one way, it goes two ways. Okay, you inspire people through the business, you make an impact. You also inspire people by being part of something that we take to the entire world. I hear your stories, you hear mine. We go tell other people. And like Jeff said, the vision that he has with Jeremiah and Craig about 2020, 1 million product consumers. I want to hear you say it loud and clear. 1 million product consumers. Again, 1 million product consumers. Now, you heard Jeremiah earlier today. I'm not going to go past it again, but the point was that he made a statement carried over from what Jeff said last year. Okay, how is this going to impact you? How this is going to impact you is 41 millionaires. Okay, how is it going to impact you? 31 people, somewhere between 50,000 to 100,000 a month. Not a year, a month. How is this going to impact you? 125 people, we're talking about 25,000 to 50,000. That's corporate level incomes in the corporate world. Okay, that we get to do wearing a pair of flip-flops in some days, right? Okay, being comfortable at home, putting our best foot forward, going out and impacting somebody else's life. Okay, how about all the things we'll be able to do with our family and the children that will see their parents? One of the greatest stories that touched my life when I was in Italy was something that Paolo Linari said. Okay, 3 jobs. I was sitting there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Every single person was listening to him as he told the story from the stage. Growing up, his kids hardly saw him because he had 3 jobs. A morning job, he'd come home, he'd change, an afternoon job, early evening, come home, change, and he had another job in the evening. His kids never saw him. And what does he do? That night, he brings his daughter up on stage, okay, because he was being recognized as being one of the great diamonds, the new diamonds in Italy. And in that moment, she and her boyfriend decided to join him in the business. Okay, what a special family opportunity to bring those people together like that. How is this going to impact you? Okay, 210 people, $10,000 to $25,000 a month. How about 315? We're talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that will have family time, that will have vacation time, that will have better education for their children, that will have special things they can do together as a family. Now, what about from a health point of view? Now, I say fit is the new sexy. Okay? And where did I learn that from? From my good friend Philip Townsend, who I want to give a shout out to, because last year he was my inspiration, and I love you. I love Shy, my inspiration, because I was feeling fat and ugly. I went to an event that Randy had invited me to come to, and I went and got the fat clothes. Some of you have heard the story. Went to the back of the closet, got the fat clothes out. And I thought to myself, what is this? You know, we're in a health and fitness company. Okay, Philip Townsend became my coach. Shy became my coach. We were talking about sexy, fitness, feeling good, healthy. A whole new vitality came into my life because of that. I felt my va-va-voom back. How many of you know what va-va-va-voom is? So, why I'm telling you this, because as we go through this time period, okay, with the great leadership coming from Abe, Noah, Joel, and the example that was set by Jeff and Brooke coming on board to show us that we could make changes in people's lives, we're close to 100,000-pound weight loss. Now, I'm sorry, guys. You don't want me talking about weight, but I'm looking at that number and the impact of what that's doing for people around the world. 100,000 pounds. That gets people's attention. That's a story to go out there and talk about. Okay, because I know for a fact, and you heard it this morning, 6 pounds another year? We're saying, research is saying 10 pounds starts to reverse diabetes. I know that. That's in my family. Starts to reverse hypertension, cholesterol issues. Okay, allows people to sleep better, to be happier. I can tell you that when I hear the stories of the great Fit Challenge winners up here, I am so filled with emotion. My good friend Sarita Silver, okay, was one of those winners. And I hope I can get through at least a minute to talk about this because I know that's impacted her life, her husband's life, her daughter's life. They work together as a team. Okay, the whole family has changed. It's transformational. She's now transforming a whole entire community as a result of her example. The lights are back on. She's got va-va-voom. Okay, I look at my friends over in France. Anoush, where are you? Oskin. Okay, we're talking about changing relationships. Okay, giving people back the love, romance, the health. 120-pound weight loss between the two of them. The guy looked like a stud muffin up here. Okay, he was a rock star today. And she's just as beautiful. I want to hear from Deb and Brian. Man, that is such a great story. Is that not a great story? Maybe they want to start a family. They knew this was important. They had to get this in order. Health is everything. And what we have now with these new products, okay, I hope you're ready to go home and share the excitement and impact the lives of people in your communities. Nothing's going to happen unless we open our mouths. Am I right? You know, I have to tell you one quick, fast story. I came home from being out with David all day. There's an answering machine message. I listened to the answering machine message, and I stood there, and I pushed it again, and I said, David, come over here and listen to this. We have a guy that comes and cleans our carpets. He's become a friend. You know, if you have 3 little dogs, you need a good carpet cleaner. So he would come over to the house, and he's dragging this great big carpet cleaning machine into our house all the time, up the steps. You know, he took his family for the first time to Italy, so he was so excited to tell us all about his trip to Italy and how he was preparing for that Italian trip and where he was going and this and that and so forth. You know, and then he and David get into a conversation about heart. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but this summer David had a stent put into an artery, suddenly. And he sat there and he talked to this guy and he told him, he said, you've got to take better care of your heart. And we've got a great product. And he starts to share with him about cardiovascular health, a little younger than us. And the guy listened to what David said, okay, went and had a checkup and found out that he had a blockage the same as David's. And he went in and had the same stent surgery as David's. Now, what if David hadn't spoken to him about cardiovascular health and our heart product and brought this to his attention? Here's a man with a family. I mean, there's so many stories like that. The impact of what we can have going out there in the world. What's your impact going to be when you go back to your market, to your city? What's your story going to be? Okay, you heard Philip say that right from the very beginning of this convention. Find stories. I love stories. Become a storyteller. Okay, listen to the stories, the Zalecki stories. I loved what Nitti said about his kids, himself, his father-in-law. That was a whole range of generations. You gotta go home with stories. We've got an impact opportunity here that will change everything. Now we go on and think about, okay, you can impact through your business, you can impact through your health and the products, but you can also impact, as you heard Craig Bradley and Tiffany share this amazing Agile Cares Foundation. You know, I was one of those diamonds with David. We're on holiday. We're laying there having an amazing time in Costa Rica. It was, you know, being in this industry, with another company previously, I thought we were treated pretty well. Nothing compared to. Jeff must sit up, you know, for weeks and days, months and years, thinking up amazing ways to show appreciation to all of us. When you get to this place, I mean, there's so much respect in this company. There's so much love in this company. I think of all of you as my family. I know it sounds like you've heard that from Craig and other people. They take us down to this amazing place in Costa Rica. I'd never been to Costa Rica. But I was excited. It was going to be warm, and it's cold in Pennsylvania in January. You know, and I'm feeling the va-va-voom. I'm slim. I've got myself back in shape from the fit. And I'm excited. I'm going to go down there. And we're laying on the beach, okay, and I meet this incredible gentleman from Europe who's also there with his company. Okay, his company also had a promotional event in Costa Rica at the same hotel, the same resort. So we get to talking one day on the beach, okay, and the next day I see him, he's coming out of the restaurant for breakfast, and we're going into the restaurant. And he goes, hey, Ann David, how are you? Great. I said to him, what are you planning to do today? He said, oh, our company's going on a golfing trip. I said, really? Wow. He goes, well, what are you guys doing? I looked at him and I said, we're going to go paint a school. You had to see the guy's face. It was like he went, wow. I wish we had thought of that, Tiffany, Craig. You know, I stood there, I was so proud. I was so proud of what we thought to do. And I hadn't even been to the school yet. You know, so all of us get onto buses, and we start to take a drive. There's 65 of us on this bus. We start driving. And I happened to notice they were smaller buses than normal. No idea that we were going to be on dirt roads, bumpy. Many of you remember the last 30 minutes of that? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm thinking, where are we going? Okay, we stop. Somebody calls out, we're here. And I look over and I see a couple of buildings through a chain link fence. Now, I'm coming from America, and I'm a teacher by profession. I didn't see any circular driveway. I didn't see any big reception area. I didn't see the office for a school. I didn't see a cafeteria. I didn't see the gymnasium. I didn't see the athletic fields. I didn't see any of that. I just saw a couple of buildings connected that badly needed painting. And I thought, we're here to change the lives of these children and this entire community, because I saw the way we drove there. We were passing farmers. We were passing small little shanties along the way. These were their children's school. Okay, there was no big library. Okay, there were a couple buildings and one toilet. Guys, we rolled up our sleeves. We're painting. I mean, I saw Randy Gage standing there painting like he was painting the Sistine Chapel. Okay, he's like this. Okay, at one screen, I think he painted for an hour and a half. Okay, I see the diamonds from Italy, you know, they're like, vroom, vroom. I mean, they got va-boom into this thing. Okay, and David and I mean, I don't remember, honestly, the last time I stood there and painted. But I was so excited because I got paint on my sneakers. So every time I go home and I wear those particular tennis shoes, I look down and it reminds me of the lives we changed in that day. We looked in the eyes of those children, and I got to tell you something. You know, giving them our lunches, Craig had mentioned, and I handed them a sandwich, and you had to see their faces, and they're playing with coconuts. You know, they're playing ball with coconuts, kicking a ball around. We brought a painted school, new chairs, books. When you do something like that, you want to do more, don't you? You want to do more. You want to go, where's the next place we're going? So when Tiffany and Craig start talking about, okay, this eye clinic, I mean, I haven't held a child in my arms, looked down, and thought, if we don't correct the eyes by the time they're a certain age, they're going to be blind. 300 children. Randy, I'm telling you, you have a new career with what you did this afternoon. Okay, I am so proud to be part of this group that came up here to fulfill that dream down in Mexico. I'm so proud. Okay, and every one of you can be part of that forever. I walk into the office, I see those bricks. Okay, I hear the stories from Craig. Impact. We can impact lives in our business, with our products, with our leadership, with Agile Cares Foundation, with commitment, with love, with vision, and with courage. So my question to you, as you look at and you think about where we're going with Agile Cares, and you think about, as Atta talked about, taking over the world, okay, with the world in our hands, and you think about how you can make a change in your life that can affect everybody around you, starting with your own family, the community that you live in, the team that will be attracted to that. I want you to think about this as you leave here. What will be your impact? Thank you.